for traders out there. Maybe they're struggling, maybe they're options traders, maybe they're not. But I think today has been educational for all types. Yeah, it looks like you've got some nice takeaways here.
Yeah, so I think at some point, in the last year or two, I made this list for myself that I keep with me. And it's a lot of it is would be no news for anybody, but some of the things that I think you just have to respect, internalize, and keep at the back of your mind. So, you have to don't set unrealistic expectations that you're going to figure this out in 1 year, 2 years. You may like there are always, you know, high achievers out there, but that's not the norm usually for trading. So it's totally okay to if for you to take several years to figure this out. And I also like to, talk about that in a broader context of like, this is, nobody should be trading with money they can't afford to lose. And that was true for me all the way through. I was never, I was always, like you saw, like I talked about wiring out profits. Like I'm always in a position where I have discounted the worst possible thing. Also, because I trade options and don't short, stock, I don't have, my risk is defined in that I have a max loss baked in. And even my worst case scenarios are where I can go about life like normal tomorrow, right? And so you have to define those guardrails for yourself and just make it impossible that you would get wiped out because that's the single worst outcome that can happen. Um, so obsess over risk, right? And yeah, on the process front, build something that's repeatable, test out ideas. Now, the excuses to not do tests, just rigorously back test things, collect data is, they're low because, you have AI and starting to, implement it in terms of really testing out more strategies, back testing, trying out different things, but at a much faster time scale, right? Some things that would take me, months to back test, I could do in days now, right? So just take advantage of that. Journal everything, not just your trades and your, entries and exits, but the psychology, very, very important. I learned more about myself and my trading by doing that piece in 2022 than I think that was a huge, leap for me because I really sat down in front of the mirror and understood, what made me tick, what pissed me off, and what caused me pain. And for a while, and I come from an academic background, so this was no surprise that, I had, a lot of times, when I had an idea for a trade or a thesis in mind, I just did not want to be wrong, or I didn't like being wrong. And I caught myself doing that in 2022, where it felt like I wanted to be right more than I wanted to be profitable. And that was a big sort of inflection point when I was like, you know what, that's not what it's about. And then as